Welcome to Maxwell Leadership. Today, we're going to be talking about some daily habits that will help you be successful as a leader. I'm so excited to be joined by Chris Robinson. Let's dig into some videos.
Because there are 5 things I do every day. Every day. You say, John, what do you mean by every day? I don't want to go too deep on you. Don't want to go over your head. I mean every day. Number 1, every day, I value people. And you say, okay, when you say you value people, I mean, who do you value? Everyone. And you say, what do you mean by everyone? Everyone.
A couple of big things in this clip right here. I'm going to start at the beginning, though, when it comes to what you're doing every single day. Consistency compounds. When I look back on my life, I think maybe some of you can relate to looking forward and looking ahead to what you want to be and what you want to become. And I remember on my dream board, thinking about all these massive dreams out there that I want to do. And sometimes we forget that it takes daily, consistent action to get there. And I know for me, one of the biggest mistakes I made is waiting for the big moment or waiting for the big opportunity to jump in. And because I think that's what's going to get me where I want to go. When you're around people like John and really other prolific leaders, you realize that what they do so well is they show up every day and they cover the little things. They don't wait for the big moments. They're prepared for the big moments because they've been preparing all the while. What does every day mean? It means every day.
Yeah, and I love this principle from a success standpoint. When people are looking at, and oftentimes when we're doing Q&As, people ask the question, well, what's the one thing that I could do, that would have the greatest impact in my life? And I said, well, you have to identify, hey, what is that one thing that every single day that ends in day that you should be doing to move you towards your goals? And if you can do that, it's the consistency that's the secret to success.
Yeah.
And I love that when I look at, my life and my results, it's never because I was the greatest at anything, never because I was the best or the most talented, but I can say that I was probably the most consistent at whatever it is. And if you can just integrate that daily discipline, like John is talking about here, for these 5 things you do every single day, you'll move towards whatever goal, dream, or aspiration that you have. For me, I kept a very simple, 5 questions that I asked myself every single day on an index card. Every single day, I would ask myself the question, what do I need to read today? Every single day, I would ask, what do I need to listen to today? Every single day, who do I need to call today? Every single day, what do I need to do today? And every single day, what am I looking for? And what that would do is, if all of those were in line with the goal or vision that I have, well, guess what? Every single day, I would move toward those goals with speed because of consistency. Not because of talent, not because of skill, but because of consistency. So I love this principle. This is a principle that's helped me out a ton in my life, and I hope that it helped you out as well.
What is it that people are missing that would make them exceptional communicators in every area of their life if they learn how to do this one thing?
Well, in the book, I talk about the way to elevate your frequency is by increasing 2 things: empathy and authenticity. Empathy is sharing someone's soul with them and seeing the world through their experience, their emotions, their perspectives. And it's a beautiful thing. Authenticity is about allowing other people to see you. And when you grow in authenticity and go in empathy, your frequency moves toward its highest level.
And when your frequency is at its highest level, what is possible?
Human connection. We believe in ourselves more when you believe in us.
Human connection really is the goal. When it comes to communication, human connection is the goal. I think about this with my kids. I have 3 kids running around the house, and a couple of them, my older 2, are now getting into sports. And so I'm taking them to practice, and and when I launch into a pregame speech where I'm trying to get them excited, a lot of times, I watch them, and if I haven't connected with them first, they check out. Like they just like, all right, Dad, yeah, I've heard it. I've had enough, But when I come to them with empathy, with authenticity, I love what Erwin McManus is saying here, and this, of course, comes from his book, 7 Frequencies of Communication. you got to connect. And the way that you connect, the way you elevate that is with empathy and authenticity. I think with young people, I can speak for my kids. With my kids, they sniff it out very fast if there's no authenticity or no empathy present. And it takes it up. It takes my communication and my ability to connect with them up several marks when I lead with empathy and I show them that I really do care about where they are and how what they're experiencing. And then if I'm just authentically who I am, rather than trying to get the moment just right or say just the right thing.
Yeah, he's absolutely correct. When trying to connect with an audience, a crowd, or even a family member, these two characteristics really do make the difference in whether you connect or not connect. When you look at empathy, what he's saying and what he said clearly was like, hey, look, this is me putting myself in somebody else's shoes to kind of get a glimpse or a vision, which is difficult. Like you, Jared, I've got a bunch of kids as well too. And hey, can I admit sometimes it's hard to put myself in their seat because I'm going, how in the world or why did you think that was okay to do this or do that? But it's taking that time to pause and kind of get their thinking about what were they thinking? Why were they thinking that? And again, you find out the craziest things whenever you begin to ask, but hey, that's where they're at right now. But the authenticity is allowing others to see you. And I love this portion of it because I think this is where what John Maxwell talks about is never letting success create a gap between you and others. And oftentimes when we're wanting to communicate from a stage or a podcast or a platform, we're talking about success and never talking about failure. But as we talk about success, there's a wall that's built. And he says, never let your success be the reason someone doesn't strive for theirs. And
Mm.
when John said that, it always opened my heart, not just to share the good, but to share the bad, to share the ugly, to struggle, to show the struggle, to get from where we are to where we want to go. But when we do those things, we truly do connect with others.
Personally, I suck at efficiency, which is doing things quickly or doing things super well. So here is my coping mechanism. It is an 8-step process for maximizing efficacy, which is doing the right thing. Number 1, wake up at least an hour before you have to be at a computer screen. Number 2, make a cup of tea and sit down with a pen or pencil and paper. Number 3, write down 3 to 5 things and no more that are making you most anxious or uncomfortable. Step 4, for each item, ask yourself, if this were the only thing I accomplished today, would I be satisfied with my day? Step number 5, look only at the items you've answered yes to for at least one of those. Number 6, block out at least 2 to 3 hours to focus on one of them for today. 1. Step number 7, and I'm repeating, to be clear, block out at least 2 to 3 hours to focus on one of them for today. This is one block of time. Step number 8, if you get distracted or start procrastinating, happens to everybody, don't freak out and downward spiral. Just gently come back to your one to do.
I have never heard something that's going to resonate with Chris Robinson more than this 1-minute clip right here.
Well, I think you'll be surprised. I think you'll be surprised. Let me jump into this one. Now, look, I love his personal, practical, applicable steps for people in their life to take these 8 steps. Now, when I look at these 8 steps, now already I can tell you that I love efficiency and I love getting stuff done, but for me, this just wouldn't work. You say, well, Chris, why in the world wouldn't that work? Now, first of all, when it says get up 1 hour early and then have a cup of tea, I've never been the one to be able to just sit down and have a cup of tea, watch the sunrise, and kind of envision my day. I wish I was one of these people that were able to do that, but I just can't. You see, what I do is I plan the week at the beginning of the week, and then I execute daily. I plan at the beginning of the week and then I execute and adjust daily based upon what life is being thrown at me. I gave up trying to wake up super early in the morning years ago when my triplets were born because what was happening was I was waking up in the morning to fighting, biting, kicking, and screaming. And every single morning I'm trying to fight to get the day started. But then I decided, hey, I'm not going to fight with this. I'm going to give in to it, give this time to them, and then I'll get my day started. But that was able to happen because on Sunday nights, what I would do is sit down, we take a look at all the big block things that need to go in there, and then we're building around it. And then that way, every single day, I'm executing the day. Every single day, executing the day, but it was planned at the beginning of the week and then executed daily. This is great, but this is going to be tough for a lot of people to do.
Well, make it your own, right? That's what I'm hearing you say. Make it your own. And yours might not be 8.
Yeah.
If my list was 8, somebody needs to come make sure that I'm okay. I'm just telling you. I got capacity for like 3, 4, 5 on my list. To be honest, I don't even want the list. But I do need efficacy. I do need to be more efficient. I've started getting up about 30 minutes earlier than normal. Just this calendar year, I've been trying to make that a practice. First thing that I do is down a bunch of water, and then I get in the gym and do a little workout. I'm not lifting as much as Chris would be lifting, but I'm lifting something. I'm moving my body. I've got activity happening with my body first, and it's changing the way that my day moves from there. Now, some of you listening, you may not have kids like Chris and myself. Go ahead and praise God for that, because once I'm done with my workout, I enter into the gauntlet that is getting the kids ready for school and getting them all where they need to be going. My schedule looks probably similar to Chris's. Yours might look very different. What's your way? What's your plan? What's your list? How do you go about it? Do you do it at the beginning of the week? Do you do it daily? Customizing that, tailoring that to our stage of life and our seasons is very important. I know for me, doing the right things, and especially doing the right things first, has really made a difference for my productivity, and it impacts the rest of my day.
Focusing our visual attention on one particular point is incredibly effective for all types of goal pursuit. So let's apply this visual tool in a very simple way to any type of goal that you want to pursue. Maybe it's a workout, maybe it's cognitive work of some particular sort. You're going to focus your visual attention on one point beyond your peripersonal space. So it could be on your computer, it could be on the wall, it could be a horizon, it could be at a distance. And you're going to focus your visual attention there. And with some effort, you're going to hold your visual attention for 30 to 60 seconds. You might blink, that's okay, but you're going to try and hold your visual attention there. So no moving your head around, no diverting your attention to other locations. Some people will find it very easy to do, other people will find it quite hard. So for people who have ADHD and focus issues and attentional issues, this can be effective. For people who don't, this can also be effective. Again, it places your brain and body into a state of readiness, and then the idea is to move into the particular actions that bring you closer to your goal.
My man Huberman is getting us with the psychological. What do you say, Perry something? I couldn't even get that one part. He's getting up over my head right here. Yeah, Perry visual. I like it. Here's what I know to be true for me, and John teaches this: what you focus on expands. What you place your attention on for a consistent amount of time expands in your vision. It becomes bigger. It becomes more of the focus, and it is a physical act that we have to put ourselves into, but it's a very psychological thing that's happening that smarter people than me can explain the science of, like Andrew Huberman here. I remember when I was in college, we were working with sports psychologists, and they were helping us with our performance and different things. And they talk about macro focus versus micro focus. And macro focus is this, like, you're letting yourself focus on all these different things at one time. And it's getting your mind off of the specific task at hand to almost get your nerves regulated. But then micro focus is what he's talking about here, focusing on one finite, important detail and almost washing everything else out. That's a muscle you have to build. And I like this here. I like what we just listened to, because it encourages you, whether your goal is related to your own personal finances, whether your goal is related to business, leading a team, whatever you have in front of you that you're trying to pursue or attain or achieve, what you focus on expands. And so developing that muscle, even physically, of focusing on one thing and holding it for 30 seconds. 30 seconds is a long time. 30 seconds is a really long time when you're trying to focus on one thing. But it begins to impact our psychology and actually affects our brain, which then affects our efficiency and our effectiveness moving forward.
Thought, and again, I don't know the context of the before and after or when he was saying utilize, this particular exercise. I don't know if this was in a moment of, hey, I'm feeling overwhelmed, or hey, I'm, wanting to just take a little time to focus on me today. So I'm not quite sure the context there, but regardless of that, this particular exercise, what came to mind for me was in the sports realm. It's after, something didn't go right on the field that you didn't expect, and then taking that time to really kind of reset and focus. Now, 30 seconds is a long time on a field, but maybe you're in the dugout, maybe you're on the sideline, and you're taking some time to kind of reset and refocus. I think this is a great exercise to kind of find, I guess you would call, ground yourself, reset yourself in order to get moving forward. When I think about this context of visualizing and really coming back to your goals, your dreams, or your aspirations, I think that this is something that you have to get very familiar with. One of the exercises that I used to do and still do often is that anytime that I'm trying to get familiar with anything new that I want, I'll begin to write about it. So let's just say, for example, that there's a certain income number that I want to hit. What I'll begin to do is I'll begin to write that number down in all different formats. I mean, just pages and pages of, I'm writing it out numerically. I'm writing the words out of it. And I mean, I will write that for hours, because what will happen is that we're going to always be moving the direction of our dominant thoughts. And then if we get into something that we don't feel that we're worthy of, or that we're unfamiliar with, oftentimes we give that up. And so that's why you see so many different lottery winners lose the money again. Why? Because great, they're millionaires, but the bad news is they had to become millionaires after they became millionaires. And so, focusing on whatever that goal, dream, or vision is, whether it's writing it down, whether it's visually watching it, photos, images, dream boards, things of that nature, I think that can really help move you towards where you want to go.
You move in the direction of your dominant thoughts.
Always.
That is very powerful. Did you have to learn that the hard way, Chris?
Yeah, I mean, because it works for the good and the bad. I mean, think about
Mhm.
this. Two parts of your life, all right? I want you to think about one of the very best times of your life. And when things were going well, things were working, you felt like you were winning. I want you to, visualize the people that are around you and the attitude that you had toward in that time. Then if you think about, the opposite side of that, when things were going bad, when I was getting kicked out of school, when I was, getting kicked
Yeah.
off of athletic teams, I could think about people, I could think about the things that we're doing. Those were the thoughts and directions that I was headed. Like, I literally thought that I was going to head that direction. I mean, before I was 21, I thought that I was going to be dead or in jail. Guess what? I stood in front of a judge one day, and he looked me square in the eye and said, "Hey, you're going to be dead or in jail." We always move in the direction of our dominant thoughts. What you have today is merely a figment of your imagination that you've been holding on to.
Mm. And now you're driving exotic cars. So if there's hope for everybody out there that's going down a wrong path. Talk to me.
Indeed, there is.
I said cars, by the way. That was plural. I don't know if that's true. I don't know if that's true or not, but
I got some cars.
he said it's true. It's true. We have confirmed it right here on Maxwell Leadership Today, everybody.